Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to talk to you about the Tecnis PureSee IOL. And that IOL, this IOL has generated a lot of interest and has been launched as an EDOF IOL. And the company says that it is based on refractive technology, and they have changed the refractive curvature of the lens, on the posterior part. So that is what their official communication is. The company talks about proprietary refractive changes, which could be interpreted as a controlled refractive power change by modifying the curvature of the lens posterior surface. Right? They have they have actually modified the lens posterior surface. Now let me explain the fundamentals of this. So see here, you have two circles, one bigger and the one smaller. The bigger will have a larger radius, the smaller will have a smaller radius. That is quite obvious. But you can see over here, a smaller radius is always comes with a steeper curvature, right? And a bigger radius comes with a flatter curvature. So you can actually generate a lens from these two curvatures over here, right? So one with a flatter curvature, one with a steeper curvature over here. And that is what I have done over here in this simulation. This is an equiconvex lens that you are seeing over here, an equiconvex lens, and all rays of light are coming to one focus as if there is a very limited spherical aberration. So depth of focus will be less, the image quality will be high. But if I want to increase the depth of focus, here I am playing with the posterior radius of curvature of the lens, very much like this PureSee IOL is also. Okay, bring in controlled refractive surface changes. What kind of control, where it is, that is something else. They don't disclose that. But what I have done over here with my simulation over here is that I have brought in a controlled radius of curvature change on the posterior part, and you can see the effect of that is that there is a higher depth of focus over here, and you see the focal point over here, but you see that other rays of light, as you move from the center to the periphery, are more positively more of a positive spherical aberration. They're focused more strongly over here, right? The opposite of this is a negative spherical aberration, right? Negative spherical aberration is what? The rays of light that passes from the margin of the ray from the margin of the eye will actually fall behind the focal point, right? Focal point here is basically the rays that the paraxial rays of light are falling over here. Paraxial rays of light means that rays of light which are very close to the optical axis of the lens or in center part of the lens. So negative spherical aberration over here, the rays of light are falling behind. This kind of aberration you will find more in a very prolate cornea. Say for example a prolate lens over here, very steep in the middle, but very flat towards the periphery. So these now coming to the Tecnis PureSee IOL, as I explained to you, they have brought in proprietary refractive changes. They don't disclose what kind of proprietary refractive changes, where are these changes actually, which part of the lens the changes are. They don't disclose that, but they have brought in this refractive changes, and I think you will understand from what I have already showed you from my simulation. At least you understand the concept over here, right? So Smith and Bork. Now this is something which is very interesting over here, and I wanted to bring this point over here. So Smith and Borenstein, in their paper, they found out that the spherical aberration with this lens is negative. The spherical aberration with the Tecnis PureSee IOL, when they did the Aberrometry, that is a negative spherical aberration, right? Did they add negative spherical aberration? No. They actually played with the refractive curvature on the posterior part, but by doing so, the negative spherical aberration will be showing up in the aberrometry. And why? Because this I have actually explained in another article. You can always take the search button and you can search for it. It is in the EDOF lenses, where I discuss about many different types of EDOF lenses or more enhanced monofocal lenses. So in briefly, what I have explained there is that because of this, this is the defocus. This is the lower order. This could be myopia, this could be hyperopia, and this is defined by second order over the radius, right? So square of the radius. And this is basically the fourth term of the radius, which is your spherical aberration. This is higher order. Now, when you calculate spherical aberration through Zernike polynomials, you have both these two terms over here. So when you actually play with the IUL and to provide the depth of focus, what you will also induce is spherical aberration. Now, depending upon what you are providing, if you are providing more positive power, more positive curvature to provide the depth of focus, you will naturally bring in more negative spherical aberration over here. You can see the opposite sign over here, right? So spherical aberration is a product of both these two terms, the this term and this term, right? So if you are playing with this term is also affected, and that is why you will find that lenses that add more power will also add inadvertently more negative spherical aberration or positive spherical aberration. Here for the Eyhance and as well as the PureSee, because they have a higher refractive curvature in the posterior part, they will actually increase the negative spherical aberration over here. That is what I have explained. So this is basically from Smith and Borenstein, and they actually show you the Puresee IOL aberrometry, and you can see the negative aberration over here. The blue part actually signifies the negative aberration, followed by the green part, which is also negative, but not as negative as that of this central part over here. Why you find this negative spherical aberration? Because that is quite natural, because when you have a positive power more added to the posterior part or anterior part, wherever you are added, the negative spherical aberration is going to come with it, right? So that's why you find it. But this so this is what actually they find. And if you go into this paper, and you will find also secondary spherical aberration. And what is secondary spherical aberration, by the way? So we know that there are two types of aberrations, right? Lower order aberrations and higher order aberrations. Now, when you have lower order aberrations, it's kind of defocus, myopia, astigmatism, hyperopia. Now, we are only talking about higher order aberrations over here, right? Now, in higher order aberrations, you will also find a lower order spherical aberration and higher order spherical aberration. So, lower order spherical aberration in Zernike polynomials is 4-0. The secondary spherical aberration happens because of the, it is 6-0. It happens because of local curvature changes, right? It's very fine local curvature changes, and I've taken this, this you can see from the Tecnis PureSee, from the company literature itself, that there will be some local curvature changes, and when rays actually pass through this local curvature changes, that actually will create some amount of secondary spherical aberration, and that is what we will actually find over here. So this will might make an interesting reading to you. The last point that I will point out over here is that the Puresee IOL, how much of depth of focus is expected from this lens through the in vitro study made by Smith and Borenstein around 1.75 diopters at this spectacle plane, not at the IOL plane, at the spectacle plane around 1.75 diopters. And in one of my previous articles, you may have already seen that the ESCRS functional group actually categorizes lenses based on the depth of focus that they are providing, either whether they are monofocal lens, enhanced monofocal lens, or EDOF lens, or the trifocal lens. Based on the depth of focus, you can go into that article, which is actually on the EDOF lenses, and you can actually see that chart over there. So I hope you will find this interesting here, the Puresee IOLs, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and visit my website for more understanding of lenses, optics, biometry, and allied subjects. Thank you.